my bookish friends, and welcome to Day 7, the last day of BookTubeAthon 2017. Wow, the time has flown by. Can you believe we're here already? It has been a wild adventure, one with little sleep, hopefully lots of reading for you, and all kinds of challenges. There have been reading sprints on Twitter, there have been photo challenges on Instagram, video challenges on YouTube, and of course, the reading challenges. And it's been amazing. I have been enjoying myself immensely, even though I haven't gotten as much reading done as I normally do when I'm not been doing the readathon. But it's been wonderful because I've gotten to meet and talk with so many of y'all here and on Twitter, and it's just, I have been so thankful and a bit amazed at how warm and receptive y'all have been to me and how welcoming you are, and I just want to say thank you for that. It's been so lovely. So yes, thank you. And today our video challenge is story time. How perfect is that? I think it might be the best challenge yet. Maybe the most difficult or easiest, depending upon how you look at it. It requires some contemplation and reflection, honestly reviewing and thinking back on why reading's important to you, and I think that is such a wonderful challenge. Because isn't that why we're all here? Because we love reading, and there has been a moment and a time and a place that brought us to this point that is a part of our story, which is a big part of why I named this channel The Story, because we all have a story, and the stories that make us up. This is one of my favorite sayings, and it's kind of a mix of multiple things that I've heard, but I think it captures us as a people, and I know it captures me as a person, and that is, I am a compilation of everything I have ever experienced and everyone I have ever met. That's what makes me up. That is my story. Mine may be similar to somebody else's. It's not going to be exactly like someone else's. And that is ever the beauty and at times the sadness of our story, is that we're all so very different. We're alike, but we're different. And I just love that today's challenge is to tell a story of a book that means a lot to you, or a point in time that stands out to you in your reading. And so, without further ado, here is my story about reading and why it is so very important to me. In high school, my mother and I would receive these books from a friend who would buy them and then pass them on to us. And she would read a book and then give it to me to read, or I would pick a book out of the box or the huge brown paper sacks. And so there were a lot of books for us to go through. And anyway, I would read a book and pass it on to her, and vice versa. And sometimes, we would pass it on with a little note, or, a couple sentences like, this was really good, or I really liked such and so in this, or it was lacking here, could have used some more development, or this didn't make sense, it was a little bit jumpy, that kind of thing. And we would always, they weren't big books, they were, kind of little, nothing super deep, but they were sweet, and there was a moral to the story or a lesson. A lot of times the ones that we would read had a Bible verse that went along with, the theme of the book. And it was a lot of fun. We could read them in a day or a few hours, depending upon the situation. And then when we were done with it, we would initial them. I don't know if you see that there, but that's my mother's right there. We would initial them, and that's my grandmother, one of my grandmothers, and then that's my great aunt. And, mine's in the back. But, we'd initial them and date them, and then pass it on. And that was one of those things that we both greatly enjoyed and shared a love for, was reading. And that was due in great part to my mother and father. My mother got my name from a book. My father, growing up, had bookshelves on the largest wall in our house. And every night he would read us a story. And then my mother would take my brothers and I to the library multiple times a week. We'd go to story times and the summer reading program, and we'd just go, random times during the week just for fun. And we would do our school research there, sometimes on the microfilm, and we'd get audiobooks and videos and print books, obviously, and just anything and everything that the library had to offer. My mother took us all the time and enjoyed it. And then when I was in high school, we would trade these books back and forth. And so I have her and my father to thank for that. I'm very grateful for them for instilling that love of reading in me. And so then my mom died, and I didn't read anymore. I just stopped abruptly. And there were a lot of changes that go along with losing somebody close to you and important to you. And I was fairly young. I was only 19. And I had 2 younger brothers. And for a while we were all a little lost at sea. So there were a lot of changes in me just trying to keep my head above water and help them keep theirs above sinking. And in the course of all that, I stopped reading. I didn't do it anymore. There were quite a few things that I stopped doing or I cut myself off from that I didn't even realize at the time that I did. Which brings me to the book that I wanted to tell you about, I guess, because it got me back into reading. And it got me back into reading partially because it made me realize that I'd given it up. In addition to so many other things, I did not realize how much I cut myself off emotionally and mentally from people, from my family especially. I didn't realize I did it. And so this is years later, and I'm reading this book because somebody had asked me about it, and I did not have a clue about it other than because I hadn't read it. And I didn't want to just give them what I'd heard. That's not how I operate. I'm very much a person who, let me check it out, let me read it, let me research it myself kind of thing, and then do it. I don't want to tell you what this side of the fence says or that side, and whatever. So I read the first book, And I read it pretty quick. And then I read the second book, and not even 100 pages into it. I mean, it is so vividly in my mind. That morning and that moment, because it was such a light bulb epiphany moment. It's amazing. It really truly amazes me, the things that God uses to wake us up sometimes. And in this case, he used a book that kind of, I don't know, it's kind of ridiculous and silly, but it will always forever be an important book to me because of the things that it made me realize and the things that it woke me up to. Because I got to this point and I realized that I'd cut myself off and shut down internally in ways that this character had done externally. And so over the course of that day and that week, it was just kind of like, oh, you know, without getting too much into it, it was just unbelievable. So, yes, that book is from the Twilight series, and it is the second one, called New Moon. And I am thankful to that series and to the book and God using it to make me aware of the things that I had done and the unhealthy situation that I was in, and using that to bring that change about. And also, it got me back into reading. And I do love reading. And I enjoy it again. And I enjoy other things. And yes, there's so many good things in life, and there are horrible things too. But that's the beauty of life. There is pain, but with the pain there is also joy. If we don't have the dark days, we don't appreciate the happy ones. We don't have that frame of reference. So we got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. Basically is the short, I guess, of this video and this moment in memory, is that it's not good to cut yourself off and to lock things away. We need to be open and honest and genuine in things that we do and say. So I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for that aspect of reading and my parents and so many things. Wow, that's super articulate. Anyway, I'm thankful to y'all and this wonderful welcome that y'all have given me and this opportunity that I've gotten this week to spend a little bit of my time with y'all. And I am looking forward to so much more. I hope you've had a wonderful BookTubeAthon 2017, and if you have done story time today, I want to know, please tell me that you've done it in the comments below so that I can come see your experience and your memory that you've shared. And I look forward to so many more with y'all. I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember to enjoy your story. I will talk with you soon.